Bonjour et bienvenue à English for Work. Unit 3, Meetings. Lesson 4, Accepting and Rejecting Suggestions. Aujourd'hui, dans la leçon 4, nous allons voir comment répondre à des suggestions, comment approuver ou refuser des suggestions. Okay, let's get started. Now, meeting discussions, asking for opinions. What expression you can use to ask for opinion? What type of question you can ask? We can say, what does everyone think about? I'd like to get your feedback on. What are your thoughts about? What are your views on? Ou bien, what does everyone else think? Are there any other comments? Good. So, these are questions you can ask for opinion. Now, meeting, accepting suggestions. How can you accept a suggestion in a meeting? Okay? You can say, you're perfectly right. I think that would be acceptable. Exactly. I believe it's the right decision. Ou bien, that's true, I suppose. I suppose so. I agree with you on that point. I see what you mean. That's right. I get your point and I agree with you. Okay? That's the type of expression you can use to accept a suggestion and to approve an idea. Let's continue. More phrases accepting suggestion. You can also say, I agree with you on that point. Exactly. Simply. That's just how I see it. I'm with you on this. I'm with you on this. I think that would be reasonable. Maybe it would be better too. May I offer an alternative? Shall we consider another alternative? Okay, let's continue. Now, rejecting suggestion. What can you say? I don't really agree with that. Or, I'm afraid I can't agree with you on that point. Or, that's not really how I see it. I don't think we should proceed that way. This is a short-term solution, I'm afraid. I'm not so sure about that. I don't believe we should continue this collaboration. Okay, more phrases. You can also say, that's not exactly how I look at it. If you look at it from my point of view, I have some reservation about that. From my perspective, I'm afraid we could agree to that. I see it differently. Not necessarily. Okay, now let's practice these new phrases. You're going to listen and repeat afterwards. Okay, ready? Let's get started. What are your views on this? Repeat. I think that would be an acceptable solution. Repeat. You're perfectly right. Repeat. I think that would be reasonable. Repeat. Let's go on. I have some reservation about that. You now? That's not really how I see it. Repeat. Next, I think we can both agree that it's a matter of budget. Repeat. Not necessarily. Repeat. What about leaving that for the end? You now? I'm with you on this. Repeat. Maybe it would be better. I suppose so. I also agree with you on that point. Repeat. Next. Exactly. We will leave that for later if you all agree. Repeat the sentence. Good. Are there any other comments? Repeat the question. Good. That's just how we see it. Repeat. Perfect. Let's move on then. Good. Now let's review these phrases that we have seen in this unit. So, to accept suggestion, we can say, "You're perfectly right. I think that would be acceptable. Exactly. I believe it's the right decision. That's true, I suppose. I suppose so. I agree with you on that point. I see what you mean. That's right." Or, "I get your point and I agree with you." Good. Now, rejecting suggestions, you can say, "That's not exactly how I look at it. If you look at it from my point of view." Or, "I have some reservation about that. From my perspective, I'm afraid we couldn't agree to that. I'm not sure, or I'm not so sure about that." Okay? I see it differently. You can review these expressions again and again when you have time. Okay? Now let's test your knowledge and do the exercise. Fill in the blanks in the text below with the right expression. Let's get started. Now, accepting suggestions. What can you say to accept suggestion? What phrases can you use? Okay, remember, we have seen many expressions today. Exactly. I believe it's the right decision. That's an example. Or, I think that would be acceptable. Another one. Try to remember. What can we say? Good. I suppose so. I agree with you on that point. Okay? So, these are some of the expressions you can use to accept a suggestion during a discussion. Let's continue. Now, rejecting suggestion. Remember one of the expressions? Good. I don't think we should proceed that way, for example. Or another one, you now? What can you say? This is a short-term solution, I'm afraid. Okay, that's another example. Or can you think of another expression? Yes, I don't really agree with that solution. Okay, so these are expressions for rejecting suggestions. That's the end of Unit 2. Thank you for watching and goodbye.